You're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Everything Paranormal with Mark and Jeff. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Wow, this has been one of the longest short weeks ever.
Crazy.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Picking up, we try to keep busy here. We got lots of stuff going on. We are actually, I just want to give you guys a heads up that we're planning on changing our time slot. Still going to be on Friday nights.
Much better time slot, though.
And I want to say it's around the 20th, whatever that Friday is. I think it's the 20th, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, well, we have to get our act together. But anyway, in a couple of weeks, on a Friday night, we are going to broadcast live from a haunted mansion near downtown Salem. And we're going to start our show from 8 to 10 from now on. Be a little better for you guys, you para-peeps out there. I know you guys are night owls.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I'll be living across the parking lot of that haunted mansion by then, too.
Nice. So that'll be good.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get some live. We can go on. I believe they're going to do a live broadcast from that mansion the next day.
Well, my place is haunted, too.
It is?
Yeah,
that's good.
remember we went there and we were, like, checking it out?
Oh, up in the...
That whole land is freaking haunted up there. There's something going on up there.
Well, it's near that, it's near Endicott College.
Yeah.
Oh, can I say that? It's near Endicott College in Beverly.
Yeah,
so that place,
I guess you can say it now.
Yeah, there it is. And it should be a lot of fun. So anyway, we have an exciting program for you guys tonight. We have a couple of great guests. And they'll be calling in soon. I'm sure that we are Skyping them now as we speak. Producer, give me the heads up.
Skype. I got to get my Skype going.
Skype is important, guys. Skype is everything. Skype is the way to go. If you guys want to give us a chat tonight, you can check us out on everything. First of all, dtmwickedradio.com. Boy, we're heard on, we're everywhere now, Jeff.
Good on Facebook. Could we have more freaking cat pictures? You know?
Yeah. In fact, that's probably the best way to message me right now. Just
with a cat picture?
No, but Mark Legere on Facebook. Just friend me, and then you can chat that way. And send me chats, and it's probably the easiest way to do it. But
or just Legere on Facebook.
Yeah, there you go. That's Legere.
Freaking cats.
Yeah. Why do they have cats all over Facebook, anyways?
Who knows? Everyone thinks cats are cute.
Yeah. Well, they are for a little while.
Yeah, but it's like, every picture is like a cat, you know? Cats.
What's with you with cats?
I don't know. I just was noticing that on Facebook. I haven't been on Facebook a lot lately.
No, you haven't.
I've been, huh?
No, you haven't.
I've been backing off of Facebook. I've been, like, busy, you know? Trying to do other things. So what's up with you?
I'm keeping busy.
Yeah?
Keep busy. The tour season here in downtown Salem's cooking.
Nice.
Kid, it's doing good.
Yeah, still working on my website. I hit a few snafus. I'm doing some behind-the-scenes stuff.
Are you, yeah?
But angelsguide.org, if you want to go check it out. I got some stuff up there already, but everything's going to kind of hit it once at this point because I'm just doing some behind-the-scene pages that I don't want to put them up yet because they're not done, so they don't really make sense yet. So, kind of working on that and doing my construction thing, you know?
What were you selling? You were selling something a couple of weeks ago, right? You trying to
I do have a product up there.
Yeah.
It's a hypnotherapy tape you play it when you're sleeping, and it's got instructions on what to do and everything. It's kind of cool. It's only like $9.99. And then the other thing I'm working on is my numerology life coaching package. So I'm putting that together now. But I did it on a page. I have like open office. So yeah. I'm doing it on that. And then I went to put it on my Facebook page. Not my Facebook page, my WordPress page. And it came out all messed up. So I have to fix it. So I sat down and watched a movie at that point.
So you're like a life coach. Is that like a fitness coach, but of the mind and the life?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Master life coach.
Master life.
Certified.
Master.
Want to see my certification? I'll put it up there for you.
We do. I want to see your certification. We'll put it on the website.
All right. I'll get it.
You can check out my tours too. Witch City Ghosts with the plural.com, downtown Salem. Going fun. Well, you get to come down and be the investigator. How cool is that? You get to play with a thermal camera. You get to do you get to do the audio, and you get to see some spooky stuff.
Yeah, weekends I don't have my kids. I might start going down there doing 1 or 2 of those.
Oh, there you go. Are you gonna come with us and help out on the tour? Oh, I can charge you.
I'll be the tour.
Oh boy. What is it with you people with your psychic abilities? Some of you guys. Like the real deal. Yeah. Are we gonna go there tonight?
No.
Go there.
Oh, we could.
No, we won't.
The real deal.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know you, right?
My goodness. That's right. Yeah. No. Wait. We drove in the same Volkswagen bus together. You're my sister.
You're my friend on Facebook. But other than that, no, I don't really know you.
Oh. Does somebody here have diabetes? Meanwhile, you look over and there's some guy with a needle sticking out the back of his arm. You know, the glucometer checking his sugar. Good guess, though.
Is somebody here overweight?
You know what? So you're looking at the girl with a fried chicken.
Yeah.
It's not nice.
Somebody here have a drinking problem.
The bartender. It's funny, though. They call that digging. With a,
It's funny, she makes a living doing this.
yeah, like full time. Full time? It's crazy.
Oh,
It's crazy that people believe it.
That's the scary part is some people are so desperate for answers
Right.
that they base everything that she's going to say, and that's what they're going to do, and, you know?
Well, it's unfortunate that a select few now, I'm not saying it, all psychics I love, we have tons of psychic friends that are good,
Oh, yeah.
and they're amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But then you have these people that, make money off of this, and they capitalize off the, people with the situations, the problems.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I mean, a psychic, someone that's doing this, you can always find a problem in health, wealth, or relationships. You hit one of those 3 areas with every single person in the world.
Right.
So, I mean, basically, if you keep picking away at one of those 3, you're going to find something, and, and unfortunately for the people that you're picking at, that's their desperation point, so they're willing to listen to anything that's going to change what they're doing.
That's where you got to be careful, too, because then people might, make life-altering decisions on what you say, or,
Yeah, exactly.
oh my God, do I have diabetes? No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding, but something more serious,
Yeah, I mean, they look at these psychics like, oh my God, they know me so well, because you hit a few general areas, and then you go from there, and you just keep working it, and you're like, oh my God, you know me so well. Next thing you know, they're freaking in the hospital hooked up to an IV because they did something stupid that the psychic told them to do.
With fried chicken.
Yeah,
Oh, that's another story.
getting it intravenously fed to them.
All right, so Mr. Producer Denny, you give it up for Denny.
Denny!
He's trying to get our first guest on Skype.
Good job, Benny.
Yep, he's all right. Handsome guy too. Look at his little picture on the Skype.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking good.
You guys are too funny.
Alan Brando.
Yeah, scary Marlon Brando.
You've heard that before, haven't you?
No.
I was thinking
A
that.
young Marlon Brando.
More like George Clooney.
Oh my God, you guys are too funny.
Kind of a cross.
Yeah. But, oh, that's awesome. So anyway, Denny's trying feverishly to get our first guest on. Maybe there's a Skype connection problem. I don't know. We do it all by Skype now. So then, Jeff, you're going to have some time to talk a little bit.
All right.
You two can help us out with one thing. He was, okay. Oh, that's not him yet. I hear the little beeps.
What's up with that house behind you in your parking lot? That big brick building.
Oh, wow.
I got some chills from that thing.
That place, you know why? Because, that's a good story.
I never ever even noticed that till today when I was walking up here.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. It was an old woodworking shop. It's this old brick building that's probably as old as this house that we live in here, which is still haunted. And we're talking this house is like early 1900s, and that wood shop is the same.
I think it's a connection.
Well, it's all on the ley line, ladies and gentlemen, on this big geomagnetic field of a ley line in Salem, downtown Salem, Mass. It's part of the ley line.
So what's the story of that building?
That building is now being renovated into condos. It was forever
Oh.
a woodworking shop.
So that's what's happening.
They're doing a renovation.
Because I never ever noticed it before, but then as I was walking here, I just got this feeling from it, and I just started looking at it, and I'm like, whoa. I mean, I felt like there was just people looking at me, looking at them.
Yeah.
You know? All right, so what's the story?
That's it. From what I hear, there were people, some of the past tenants, they said it was getting worse and worse, like weird things were happening to them.
Yeah.
And even now, they board up the windows. They come in the next day and they're unboarded.
There was one unboarded as I was looking.
That's really crazy.
Like right
Because they screw them from the inside. So then to take the screws out.
on the second floor, there's one that's unboarded, and there's like the windows
top.
open.
Yeah. Yep. That's actually the one that fell out, and plus a bottom one there. And there are. I was playing with my ghost box out there, and I was hearing stuff like "get out" and "f you." They swore at me. It wasn't nice. I said a couple of things. So it seems like there's a lot of energy there. Plus, there's a house down the street they renovated. Totally got it and started that up. But I'm telling you, people, all this stuff on the ley line here in Salem is crazy.
There's definitely energy. I mean, I never even like noticed this building, and I feel the energy of stuff. But as I was walking up here, I just looked up. I don't even know what made me look up, and I'm like, wow, where the frick did that big building come from? And it just gave me I got chills, and I've never even like noticed that building before.
So when did you first decide, or when did you first discover you were sensitive?
When I was younger, I felt some stuff, and then as I got through high school, I just blocked it all out until I went to we started ghost hunting, and then it just started, I started like feeling stuff, and I mean that was all fake the way we did that. I mean, you says, hey, there's this warehouse I work at that.
Oh, the place is crazy.
And I'm like, all right, I'll check it out. I had no idea about anything then.
Right.
But as we went, I just like started to feel stuff, and it just got more and more, and then I trusted it more, and that's it.
Those are the good old days.
Yeah.
Remember when Miss Colorado came ghost hunting with us?
Oh God, Miss Colorado.
Me and the thermal camera and Miss Colorado got around long famously.
She was my partner all night. Oh my God.
God. Let's not talk about
You
that.
still see her?
Yeah, sometime. Yeah, she's a nice girl.
Oh,
Nice girl.
what a memory.
Memories. Yeah, that was good.
I mean, even moment of quiet here. It's Colorado.
Oh, well, you don't know which one. Past.
Ah,
Long time past.
yeah. God, she was nice.
Yep. This girl. Remember that? That's when we had... That place was crazy active. We'd hear the footsteps running by. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
You see shadows, and we'd be like, oh, Miss Colorado. Missed all that stuff. That was back in our beginning days. Yeah, the screams with our own ears. Yep.
And then the more we went there, the more stuff that was there, because they got used to us. Because that's like the only place we used to ever do,
Yep. Hey, I have a good question about that. We heard the scream with our own ears, right? Now, when you get a scream, or you get a voice on a recording, it's an electronic voice phenomena, right? So what do you guys call it if you get a voice or a scream and you hear it with your own ears?
Auditory phenomena.
Oh, that's close.
Is it? Makes sense.
It's close.
Audible?
Audible's not close. It's not bad. It's close. How about just a voice phenomena?
Yeah.
So it's not electronic. It's voice. You just hear it with your own ears.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And then if you can record it,
That's happened like maybe 4 times to me, my whole investigations.
really, you can hear things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happened actually last time we were at the mansion. Cheryl says, we were leaving a room, and she says, okay. Or we thought she said, okay. And then
Oh, I remember that.
I said, did you say, what did you just say? She goes,
And it was a whisper, right?
And it was like her voice. Okay.
Yeah, that's really weird when that happens. Yeah.
So I heard it that time. I've heard it, actually, in that mansion, it's probably 3 times. We heard one in the garage,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. We're going back there. Going back there real soon, doing a live broadcast here from, it's going to be 8 o'clock. Friday nights, 8 to 10. And I'll even look up the date for you. All right. Somehow this guy forgot, been in touch with him several times in emails in our first guest, but I don't know. So you're going to keep talking about your experiences.
Yeah.
Which is good. Now I can buy it all out of you.
What do you want to know?
Okay. I want to know. Now we know how you got started in this. I did too, the same thing. I think some of it might have been the ghost hunting shows, but then the longer we did it, we would find we'd learn more. We'd learn more, like, you know, we learn the right way to do things and not the TV way to do things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then we got hooked up with other people that we learned stuff that they used to do. And
yep. Those meetup groups are great. People are always asking me, how do I get into it? How do I get into it?
That one's not there anymore.
There's different ones, though. There's one called Explored Haunted Places, which is really good. It's our buddy Bobby there, and they call him the Salem tour a few times, and they're going to the Houghton Mansion in a couple of weeks.
Who, Misty Bob?
Yeah, it's called Exploring Haunted Places. It's on a meetup group. It's very cool. They do a lot. They're doing the Watch Who's It In pretty soon. They're doing the AC Houghton Mansion, which we got to get up there. We haven't been to that one yet.
Which one?
It's up in Houghton. It's the Houghton Mansion. It's up in North Adams, Massachusetts. Massachusetts.
Yeah, you know what, though? I kind of have a problem paying to check out haunted places.
$30.
I know, but the whole freaking world is haunted, you know? And they know it's already haunted, so what are you really finding out about it? That it's haunted, which you already know?
Well, you know what happens, though, if you people investigate it too much, and
yeah,
I'm not saying we're not all professional, but there's a lot of groups that go in there and they're just like, I tell you, give me a sign, or, you know, they're just provoking the crap out of these things, and what happens is they get worse.
Yeah, because you're opening a door and then you get some nasty shit coming in there.
Yeah.
I think actually at the mansion there's something nasty there now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to have it live.
I might be getting rid of it before. Oh, actually, our buddy Debbie, next Sunday. I don't know what you're doing next Sunday.
Nothing.
We might have
I have no life. I coach baseball.
We might have a nasty case up there that we got to get rid of.
Where? Which one? Where?
In Manchester, New Hampshire.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. What's going on there?
Don't really know the details yet, but there's something nasty, and she wants to do a couple of houses, do some cleansing.
Oh, wow. Couple houses?
Mm-hmm.
Are they connected? Like
I
cases?
think that somehow or another they are connected.
Right.
Like the people that went from one to the other, and it's kind of like that type of thing.
Yeah.
So, but there's definitely something going on there. She sent me some pictures, but I don't know. Whatever's there, it's...
Can you photo scry yet?
Not like those people where things start like moving around in the picture.
That's creepy. Isn't that called the motion picture movie? No, I'm kidding. I know.
Why don't you explain what photo scrying is, you know? Because
photo scrying are some people with that ability, psychics with the ability. What do you call the ability?
Clear visual?
Maybe. It's a scrying ability.
I don't know. I don't know the technical
We're
term.
full of breaking knowledge tonight, folks.
You
All
know,
right?
I
What
don't
happens
know
when
the
a guest
technical
doesn't
term.
show up? But anyway, yeah, they scry. They look at a photo. You can hand them a photo, and they look at it, and they tell you what they feel, what they see is going on in that picture. Things you don't see.
But they can look at the picture,
Right.
and they can see like the people in the picture moving around.
Right.
I mean, that's bizarre.
It's crazy.
You know? So basically, you know, and then like the people that are in there can like talk to them, and they can tell them their story. And they come back and then they tell the people what they saw and what they heard, which is stuff that nobody would know.
Right.
And they're telling the people this, you know?
We've had guests in the past that have done that.
Yeah, it's tough to do on radio, though. If we had a TV show, that would be awesome. Because, I mean, we could be showing... Well, I mean, we could do it if we planned it ahead and put the picture up on Facebook, and have people look at the picture that we're looking at, you know? But
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna call a good friend from New Hampshire, Eric Perry, with his TV cameras. Come down, do the show, tape the show, something like that. We can do something like that. We can have people call in. We can have a guest that does the scrying and things like that. It'd be kind of cool.
yeah,
We can let you try it.
yeah, we could set that. Yeah, I'll try it. I don't know what I'm gonna get for you. I can look at pictures and see stuff, but nothing moves for me.
The most I see or feel, I mean, I don't, anything like that, I don't know.
And what I can do a lot of times too is I can go like when I was with Joni and at the Rutland prison there.
Yeah.
There's just a foundation in the back where the hospital used to be.
Yeah.
And I could see that, and I described that exactly the way it is. And then they showed me a picture, and it was like exactly what I said it was.
Really?
So I can look back. I mean, I get like flashes where I can see like people, you know, like doctors and stuff. I can see like the whole thing like up and working. I was getting those at Danvers State when we were there.
Oh, the good old Danvers State Insane Asylum.
That was kind of creepy though, because there was some really confused mental patient, their energy there. I mean, they were like coming up to us.
That was me.
No. And then, you know, you've got the imprint of the energy of the living people there, like their pathways and stuff. So we had that. We had the patients that were just kind of walking around confused at what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I mean, at that place, I bet you there is like hundreds of places in there where there's somebody lined up with one of the patient's beds. You know, their bed is like right where the patient's bed is. I mean, they're probably like, they have the spirit of the patient looking at them all night, just like
I
in
bet.
the same bed. Because, I mean, the way that that's set up, it's all wall space, so you're going to push your bed against the wall, which is what they did.
Of course, keep in mind, folks, it's all condos now.
Yeah, it's all gone. That's true. Yeah. This place, it was a mental institution forever.
Yeah, 4 stories high, and then it went 4 stories below.
They did some crazy
Right.
stuff.
The further down you went, the more like they did lobotomy.
Yeah.
They did experiments that went really horribly wrong.
Yeah, they did the tooth pulling thing. They
Yeah,
did everything. They did starvation. They did, you know,
Wow.
practicing on people that had all kinds of stuff.
Well,
So they took this, they ripped down most of the buildings, but they left the biggest gothic, nasty one right in the middle.
yeah, the main building.
So they left that.
What's the main building now? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's creepy looking.
And then they just built out off of that condos.
Right.
So, I mean,
But it's all still on the land.
Oh, yeah.
We have 2 ongoing cases there. Without telling you too much, but except you know where they are. But
Yeah.
they're pretty crazy. In fact, I haven't talked to you, Jeff, about it, but I got another message the other day where people, they keep on hearing the knocking, and there's one we can't listen to too much, folks, because, you know, they're hearing all this other noise, like when they're all in the bathroom smoking pot, they hear noises. You know, okay, well, maybe that's
And
why.
it always seems to coincide, too, for some reason, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe the ghosts don't like them smoking weed. You know?
Or maybe they just because they can't do it, but whatever. So generally we neglect that one. But what's interesting is these people don't know each other, and it's kind of close to each other, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So maybe there's some validation there.
And then, too, it's like when we were talking about this on Facebook, we had tons of people that chimed in with their stories of where they when they used to work there. Or
I heard one today.
Yeah.
Yep. There's again, it's the Danvers State Hospital Insane Asylum, closed in 1992 or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was active. In fact, there's 2 cemeteries in that property. Not to go off track, but remember the name was Mary Jane Legere. Speaking of pot, Mary Jane, and then Legere, our last name. Remember that? We were talking to her on the Ghost Park.
Yeah.
And she said that name, Legere. So that was pretty cool. What else did she say?
Said, how are we related?
Yeah, how we... Oh, no, we're related. She said how.
Yeah.
Right? How.
That's right. She said how.
Yeah. Same last name.
Yeah.
And then she said her name.
Yeah, but even that place, you go into there, and then you go and you walk into the bushes, and there's a pile of freaking grave markers that they just took and they threw in the bushes.
Yeah.
You know?
I brought my dog there the other day. my little Aussie puppy. I'm training him to ghost hunt. It's funny when I get like high spikes to the K2 or the millimeter, or if I see something on the thermal camera, I kind of try to get him to go over and see how he reacts, and then you give him a little treat. He's good. What he does now is he'll sit and he'll bark. But in that cemetery a couple days ago, when I had time to walk down there, we were walking in that property, kind of getting a feel for the place, and he wouldn't go in that cemetery.
Really?
Would not go in there, yeah.
What day?
It's like Tuesday?
Yeah?
Tuesday, when I wasn't busy. Day off, so what I do, we go walking around, go to a cemetery.
And you wouldn't go in there, huh?
Nope, he didn't want to go in that thing. He was whimpering, and he was sitting there, he sat down, he wouldn't move, he wouldn't go in there. Would not go in that cemetery. So it was weird. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning, too. People, ghosts happen 24/7. They're not just there, at night.
Yeah.
They
And
make
night is good for TV.
Exactly. Well, TV, and, there's less ambient noise, if you're trying to do recordings, you're trying to get EVPs, you don't have so much background noise outside,
Actually,
traffic and...
it's good, too, for, like, thermal cameras.
Thermal cameras.
And, all your cameras.
Yeah.
So,
all the night vision stuff.
yeah. So, I mean, it is good for that, but...
It is. It is.
Who knows if, some ghosts probably sleep, too,
Well, it's like that mansion we're going to be broadcasting from on June 20th from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just in case you didn't catch that before.
Yeah, and that place...
10 o'clock at night, it dies up.
Yeah, we found...
So right at the end of the show, it's going to be great.
I remember the first night that I slept there, we were in this room that was freaking crazy. It was like this little room. It was a maid's room or
I
something.
can't believe you guys slept in there. It got kind of creepy, like around, just around 9:30, 10 o'clock it got
Yeah, but, we went until like about 12 that night, I think, or 1.
Yeah.
And then we went to sleep, and, I mean, when I slept, there was nothing. It was just like, I slept fine all night. I woke up in the morning, there was like nothing even there.
Right.
So, I don't know. But I've also heard the girl that has her artist place there, too. She says that sometimes, like, at 2 o'clock, she hears stuff.
In the morning.
You know what's crazy in that place?
What?
Is...
Oh, the college
more,
kids?
Well, more people have said that they hear music. And we actually got it on our ghost spots last time we were there. We got...
Yeah, we did.
A tuba, and then we got...
Yeah,
like,
you
a
get some
piano
music playing.
And we didn't know what it was until we played it back. Because we heard it on the ghost box, and it just sounded like a fart,
Yeah.
And then after that, it was like piano playing. And it was like right outside that room that everybody hears music. And there's like nobody in there that you could even associate that with.
Right. It's a moment of silence.
Yeah.
Did I mention that we're going to be broadcasting there live on June 20th from 8 to 10 p.m.?
So what's up with that college thing?
The college near us is, it's getting closer. And it's supposed to be, I guess we're supposed to be president pretty soon.
Yeah.
And they're interested in having us go in there, so that's why I want to talk to, get the TV crew in there, check that out, and it's very active. They have, people have seen a little girl ghost. One of the claims is they hear marbles rolling a lot. I can say it's a college in Massachusetts near Hammond Castle.
Yeah.
That's not that far away, right?
Right.
It's right near Salem. It's right there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to know what happened there. I want to just go there and feel it, see what's going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, he says that too, guys, because that's how we work with psychics a lot. We'll try different approaches. And he kind of goes in, it's like Dead Files, like watching that TV show Dead Files, right? It's a lot like that. It's a lot like that's how you guys should work with psychics. Let them go and do their thing, and then you can go do your separate technical thing and kind of meet at the end. Although we kind of work together.
Yeah.
But then if I think he's crazy, he's crazy. But a lot of times when he says, he's feeling this or that, and I direct my questions, and we get intelligent responses, we get some validation for his
I feel something here
some
right
credibility.
now.
Oh, there is in this house. We're in our studio. I mean, upstairs in my house it's haunted. There's no doubt about it.
I feel there's like a guy right behind you.
Probably he's in our closet back there. To be
Yeah.
honest, remember when we first came here a
Yeah.
couple years ago? That's where it ended up, right in the
Oh,
closet.
I think he's gone.
You think it's something else now?
I don't know. But I just felt like someone was just breathing right in the back of my head.
That was my puppy. No, I don't know.
No, he's not even here.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Honestly, my kids sleep off like the over there, and they're all right. But I don't know. I get freaked out here. I don't like to come up here. Or the basement. It's crazy down there.
Yeah.
Isn't it true? It seems like the spirits, the more negative ones, they always seem to hide. You know, when you're
Yeah.
chasing around our house, it's either up in the attic or down in the basement.
Yeah.
There's a lot of truth to that.
Well, they like to go to, where they're not going to be bothered.
Right.
They might not even be nasty. They just don't like being bothered. If you left them alone, they probably wouldn't even bug you.
It's true.
But unfortunately, we have to, chase them around and stuff.
Oh, only when we have to.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, there's plenty of good ones. Oh, that lady was calling me again. Did I tell you that?
Oh, down at the Cape?
No.
I mean, where was that one? Not the Cape.
Dorchester or something?
Oh, well, it's going from there.
Huh?
Oops, little technical difficulty there. Jeff and his big feet trying the studio.
I didn't even do anything.
Oh, what my God.
Alright.
What's going on with that case?
Nothing, because I'm not going there. She's freaking a lunatic. Hope she's not listening. I'm not talking about you if you think I am.
Right.
But you're paranoid, so you probably think I am. Anyway, she calls me at 10:30 the other night and says, I see a lady across the street. I'm like, really? I didn't even answer. I just let it go to message. But,
Oh, isn't that the one, I remember that one, and then she had, she saw a little girl ghost at the school, which is close to her.
yeah,
Next door.
yeah.
Then she's in the school's, closed down or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she's there, can you get in there? Can you go check? I said, that's trespassing. We can't do that without permission. So last we left that, she was going to get permission from the city or something so we can go in there and not get arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, you don't want to discredit us, paranormal investigators. We work hard to get where we are, and when you start walking around in vacant buildings during the night without permission with flashlights, you're going to call attention to yourself.
Yeah.
And then people are going to,
Remember that one we did in Canton? Where it was like a townhouse, and the guy,
Oh, wait a minute. Time for a cold one.
and the guy,
Kid, that's only a Coke.
he didn't tell his neighbor what we were doing, and we're walking around his house, and he's pounding on the wall, and the police show up, and
Oh, yeah,
Remember that one?
yeah, I do. It freaked me out. Yeah, we heard
Yeah.
the police, and the police are like, what are you doing? Well, we're paranormal investigators.
Yeah.
You what?
Where's the guy that owns the house? Oh, well, he's went away for the weekend.
Right, yeah.
But we're just walking around with flashlights and
Flashlights and
dark
cameras.
house.
Duffel bags and a mask.
Yeah, don't mind us. We're just walking around with flashlights inside of a dark house.
I don't remember. We didn't find anything yet, did we?
Got a few things. His room was kind of nasty, But other than that, I think he kind of brought it with him on his. I don't know, but his room had a dark feeling to it, but nothing definitive,
Right.
So. Yeah, I mean, it was just more feelings than evidence on that one. But this lady, to get back to her, all right, now if you're gonna start doing investigations,
Yeah.
Basically, you got to check the people out. You
Well,
know?
yeah, you have to interview them. There's a good 20 questions you should ask.
Yeah. We should actually write those
I
out.
have it on my website.
Yeah.
Yeah. WhitCityGhost.com.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
check it out and look for the contact us. You don't have to fill it out, but you can look at it. You can download it if you want. It's fine.
Yeah.
I got it from when we were part of a big group. And,
Yeah. Because I mean, if they're crazy, you're also opening yourself up to maybe getting in a little trouble with these people if you know,
Right.
if you start saying things that you shouldn't be saying to them. So, I mean, first of all, you got to check these people out. If if you have the time, you go do a face-to-face. You can do it on the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, you can pretty much tell if people are crazy on the phone.
You can. Just,
You know?
but then, yeah, if you ask them, I mean, one of the questions might be, and you hate to ask stuff like this, but,
Are you
stuff
on any
like-
meds?
Yeah, are you on medications? Are you on prescription medications?
You gotta ask.
Are you into the, do you do recreational drugs? You do, and I'm not saying that's all bad. I mean, it's not bad, but
Yeah.
some things make you hallucinate more than others.
Yeah. I mean, if you smoke a bone every now and then, no big deal.
Yeah,
You
but,
drink on a Saturday night, no big deal.
but if you all smoke a bone in the bathroom and you call me and say, we hear knocking, it's like, well, it's probably the neighbors taking the weed out.
Yeah.
I don't think it's paranormal.
No. It's,
But then again, some of the more serious cases we've had involve people on medications that it's like they conjure things up.
yeah.
But they believe it so much that it becomes real.
Yeah.
It becomes real, like The Conjuring. Not quite extreme, but I mean, that was one of my worst cases. It was one of my worst cases where somebody was on those medications and they were really seeing things and they were real. That's
Yeah.
where the light blew out in front of us and the freaking table tipped over and it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And, I mean, it builds up
Yeah.
over time. It's like the more energy you're gonna give them.
Okay.
Hey.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Oh, wait a minute. Let me. Okay, we have our guest.
Robert Stroder?
Bob.
Yes, right. Yep. And
Bob Short, welcome to Everything Paranormal. We sincerely apologize about the technical difficulties we had.
no problem. I went in on your website and I realized you had somebody else on, and so no, that's no problem because you had sort of said 7 o'clock anyway.
Yeah.
And
But I thought I corrected that earlier from 6 to 7. No.
It's all good.
Oh, I'm crazy.
That was just me, his brother you're listening to.
Yeah.
so I guess I'll shut off the audio. I mean the video. There. Can you still hear me?
I hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
perfectly.
Yep. And so, did you want to start the show now?
Oh yeah. We've been talking anyway and buying time, but absolutely. Actually, let's tell the folks a little about yourself. You introduce yourself.
Okay. Oh, sure. No problem. Let's see. Well, let's see. Basically, I retired from Hewlett-Packard a couple years ago, and I had been with Hewlett-Packard something like 27 years, and so quite a while there. And I had been a product manager there. I was in operations, finance, those kind of things. And so it was a terrific company to work for, by the way, anybody who's interested in my educational background, I have a BA in mathematics from Rutgers University in New Jersey. And I have an AS degree and associate's degree in aerospace engineering and an MBA on top of all that. And thanks. And I've also kind of been studying developments in modern physics for the last several decades, actually off and on as time permitted. But anyway, I can tell you real quick, Mark, and I guess it's Dennis.
Jeff, Mark and Jeff. Dennis is my producer. Yep, Jeff.
Oh, Jeff, Mark and Jeff, sorry. And, but anyway, oh, okay.
Worse, he says.
So, I can give you an idea of how I became interested in the UFO phenomenon. Way back in 1957, I saw a UFO over my house in Teaneck, New Jersey. I was only like 11 years old, and I was watching. And even though I was just a kid, I do come from a family of scientists and engineers, so I kind of had a love of anything, scientific or related to nature, things like that. And I was looking up and I saw this like gold cylinder. It looked like the shape of a cigarette, and it was heading toward. Oh, by the way, we lived in Teaneck, New Jersey, which is maybe a couple miles west of the George Washington Bridge or Manhattan. And so I was looking up, and I saw this cylinder-like object. It was about 5 p.m. in the evening. It was early November 1957. And at first I thought it was an airplane, and because sometimes when you look up at the sky in a clear blue sky, when the plane is tilted, you can't see its wings. You can only see the fuselage. But at that age, I didn't wear glasses, and I just started wearing glasses, so I had very good eyesight, and I could clearly see that this thing was blunt on the front and the back. And so at that point, I realized it was something really unusual. And then, as I watched it, I suddenly realized there was another object behind it, a circular object that was no wider than the narrow width of this cigarette-shaped object. And I don't want to belabor this story too long, but this is what kind of got me into the UFO phenomenon. And I was stunned. I thought, what the heck could that be? And Sputnik had gone up like a few weeks before, so my thought was, gee, maybe this is Sputnik, but why would the rocket still be up there with the satellite? And for that matter, why would it be in front of the satellite? And so I was totally baffled. And I ran inside the house to get some of my brothers and sisters. I have 5 brothers and sisters, and I got some of them to come out, and they saw it too as it disappeared over the horizon. But to make a long story short, years later, I was reading UFO books, Major Donald Kehoe, and he was one of the Air Force guys that was investigating the UFO phenomenon, and he pointed out that pilots had been seeing these cylindrical-shaped UFOs that were accompanied by the typical disc-shaped UFOs, and occasionally they had seen the disc-shaped UFOs coming out of the cylinder, one or the other end of the cylinder. So it's pretty clear that those cylinders appear to be kind of motherships, and they stack up the typical flying saucers like plates on the inside, and that's what I had seen, and it confirmed what I had seen. And anyway, that's kind of how I got into it.
Cool.
And so I can go on here. I guess I can. One of the big questions people usually ask is, why should we pay attention to the UFO phenomenon?
Right.
Okay, and I can tell you, Mark and Jeff, that I think it's very important that we do start focusing much more attention on this phenomenon. And the reason is because there's things going on in modern physics that look like they might be pointing toward an explanation of UFO physics, of the technology behind these craft, and that's what's exciting. There's a lot of theories that involve extra dimensions that are being tested at the Large Hadron Collider particle accelerator in Geneva, Switzerland, and if any of these prove to be correct, it could be giving us our first glimpse of the technology that these alien civilizations have been using. And the reason I believe we should be paying a lot of attention, especially our scientific community, is because we could potentially leapfrog our understanding of nature at its deepest levels by studying these craft and then relating it to the research that is now underway in modern physics. And so that's why I believe we should be paying attention to these things. And I should point out that a number of scientists and engineers and journalists have concluded that the subject is worthy of study. So you may or may not have heard of some of these people, but people like Dr. James McDonald, Dr. J. Allen Hynek, Leslie Kane, she's a Boston Globe journalist. Yep. Physicist Stanton Friedman, he's been looking into this for years, and There was a NASA aeronautical engineer by the name of Paul Hill. He's been involved in looking at the UFO phenomenon as well. And other people include like Dr. Lynn Kitai. She's a medical doctor down in Phoenix, Arizona. And there's been police officers like Lonnie Zamora, who saw a UFO landed, and he became interested in the topic, and so on like that. So there have been some journalists and scientists and engineers who have shown an interest in it, but we need many more. Mark and Jeff, I got to ask a quick question. Do we only have till 7 o'clock?
No, it's going about 15:15 because we apologize. We had some technical difficulties going on here, so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
15 good for you?
That's yep. I could. I could. I'll probably have to hurry up the what I was going to talk about to cover it in 20 minutes or so.
Okay.
Is that okay? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
That's fine.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
It's fascinating. This is really fascinating, and we get a lot of the ghost talk and the sidekicks.
Yeah.
The UFO is phenomenon is just amazing. It's very interesting.
You ever tell
It's
you
very
a
real.
UFO dream?
No, you have UFO dream?
Yeah.
Oh wow! Tell us later. Go ahead, Rob.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, by the way, I do know you guys were, you tend to focus on the ghost area, but
We focus on all paranormal.
Everything
really.
paranormal. Serious.
Yeah,
That's all
everything.
good. Yeah.
oh, okay.
We have talk about Bigfoot to UFOs,
Yeah.
anything.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, you guys might be interested to know that the UFO phenomenon, the technology behind it, may involve physics that could have a relationship to the ghost phenomenon as well. And so, as we get into it, you'll see why. It's really quite interesting. But anyway, is it okay if I can just go ahead and talk about it in a?
Oh, absolutely. I was going to ask you what is going on in modern physics that leads you to believe that we may be unraveling the technology of these probable extraterrestrial UFOs.
Oh, okay, and that's an excellent question, and here's what I think is happening. There are basically two big questions related to UFO technology, and the first one is, number one, how did they get here? And the second question is, how are these craft able to perform inertia-defying acrobatics in our atmosphere? Everybody reports they have phenomenal maneuverability. So those are the two really big questions. And so so as far as Earth science is concerned, what is happening in modern physics that could explain these two big questions on UFO technology, and this is where it gets interesting. Unfortunately, we'll have to do a little bit of physics just to kind of get some background physics, which will otherwise what I'm going to say later won't make any sense. Okay. And but anyway, the key thing is that, and I apologize ahead of time here for having to do this physics, but there's no way around it, I'm afraid. And
All right. Physics is good. Yeah. It's good.
Okay, excellent. So, in a nutshell, you can think of everything in the universe as consisting of matter and force particles that are acting on the stage of space-time. And so that's it. There's really only three basic constituents to the universe: matter particles, force particles that cause the interaction of matter and force particles, and the stage of space-time on which all these particles interact. And anyway, most people are familiar with matter particles such as the electron or the neutrino, but all the forces are carried by particles too. So the electromagnetic force, just as an example, is carried by the photon. The strong nuclear force is carried by particles called gluons, and the gravity force is carried by a hypothetical particle called the graviton. Yep. So basically, nature is very simple. There are really only 4 fundamental forces in nature, and those 4 fundamental forces are they are the weak nuclear force, which is responsible for radioactive decay of the elements. There's the strong nuclear force, which holds the components of the nucleus together, the protons and neutrons, which in turn are made up of smaller particles called quarks. Then there's the electromagnetic force, which holds the electron in orbit around the nucleus of the atom, and then there's gravity. So that's it. That's all there is. Those are the 4 forces of nature: the weak nuclear force, the strong nuclear force, electromagnetism, and gravity. And likewise, the matter particles are also very simple. There's only basically 4 fundamental particles in nature. There's actually a few more than that, but there's only 4 that make up 99.999% of all the matter in the universe. And those 4 are the up quark, the down quark, the electron, and the electron neutrino. That's it, And one of the neat things about physics, in case you guys or any people in your audience are interested in studying physics, there's not that much to memorize compared to, say, biology, where you have to memorize thousands of flora and fauna. When you get into physics, there's only a certain basic number of fundamental particles that account for everything we see in the universe. Makes it much easier. But here's the important thing. It's the force particles that make things happen in nature, such as the electric force in a lightning bolt. And so for this reason, science is particularly interested in the force particles in nature. And it turns out that there are certain symmetries. We're going to be over the physics pretty soon here, so not to worry. There are certain symmetries among the forces that suggest that at some earlier stage in the universe's evolution, all the forces were combined together in a single super force. From at the time of the Big Bang, some 15 billion years ago, this single super force broke up into the 4 fundamental forces that we see today. But it's something of a holy grail for modern physics to try to determine, to try to reconstruct the original superforce that was present at the very beginning of the universe. And that's kind of, as I mentioned, the holy grail of modern physics. A lot of what you see going on in all these science experiments, like over at the Large Hadron Collider Particle Accelerator in Geneva, Switzerland, is basically focused on trying to reunite these fundamental forces of nature. And what's interesting about that is they've had Mark and Jeff, they've had some success in unifying the 3 non-gravity forces, the weak nuclear force, the strong nuclear force, and electromagnetism. But so far, they have not been able to get gravity into the mix. Gravity is the one force that they can't get into the mix. And the reason it looks like they can't get gravity into the mix, into a theory of all the force, a unified theory of all the forces of nature, is because gravity is exponentially weaker than the other forces of nature. And I'll just give you a quick example. Compared to electromagnetism, electromagnetism is 10 to the 36 power stronger than gravity. And so that's 1 followed by 36 zeros. So in other words, it's not 10 times stronger electromagnetism than gravity, not 100 times, which is just 10 squared, and 10 cubed is 1,000, and so on. it's 1 followed by 36 zeros. And that should give you a very good idea of how incredibly weak gravity is compared to the other forces of nature. Now, admittedly, most of the people listening to this show will think that gravity is much. They think of it as very, very strong. When you're crawling out of bed in the morning, and you have to go to work, gravity seems like an overwhelming force. But in reality, it's not. It's extremely weak, and but most people, by the time they have the first cup of coffee, have figured out how to overcome it. And but anyway, the difference in strength of gravity versus the other forces in nature is an aspect of a problem in physics called, and this is very important, is called the hierarchy problem, and that is the big puzzle in modern physics. But I believe that solving the hierarchy problem is going to be critical to solving the UFO enigma.
Maybe it's quantum physics.
Well, you're on the right path there.
As we project our thoughts out, are these aliens picking up on those thoughts? Because we're like little universes ourselves,
Well, is that Jeff talking?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Jeff. That's actually a rather interesting idea because I don't want to get too much into it, but many people in close encounters with UFOs, even when it's only a couple hundred feet away from them, they get the sense that the UFO can understand what they're thinking.
Oh, yeah. Because our thoughts, maybe they have some technology, or it's just the level they've developed to that, they can pick up on our thoughts as we're, sending them out, and they could just decipher those and,
I totally agree, Jeff. I believe that, many people have heard of mental telepathy, and I believe there might be something to this. You may have heard of something called remote viewing.
Yeah.
Oh, good. You guys know about that. That may be, that was done by the CIA. They actually had a program and stuff that they had these people that had the amazing ability to view things from a great distance. So they were actually able to kind of at least get a rough picture of like Soviet military installations back in the 80s and stuff. And they actually put quite a bit of money into this, and I believe there's something to it. I don't want to get into it too much because...
It's kind of like, that's something that, we use 10% of our brains right now. So there's always people that can do certain... I've done remote viewing twice, but the second time I did it, I came back to my body and crashed. If you don't just kind of like float back in, you hit with a thump, and I haven't been able to do it since because that's taken over my mind of what's going to happen,
Yep.
But
and I'm convinced that Jeff and Mark, that there is something to it, and I believe I believe you're absolutely correct. I believe the UFOs either have some instrumentation or something that allows them to literally read our brain waves and interpret it, and so because that's been reported many times. But I may want to push on here because I know we don't have too much time.
Okay.
So one of the as far as the hierarchy problem, how does that? The question is, how does that help us solve the technology of the UFO phenomenon? And that is really the key question. And we have to do a little more physics to answer that. But now we're kind of getting to the exciting part. And there are basically two pillars in modern physics: general relativity and quantum mechanics, and those are the foundation stones of everything we know in modern physics. General relativity describes gravity in terms of the geometry of space-time, and as a result of the matter and energy at all points in space-time. And quantum mechanics, that's the science that describes the behavior of all matter and energy particles at the subatomic, or what they refer to as the quantum level. And so they, as far as these, so those two theories are literally the foundation of everything we understand today. And but the key thing is that, well, first we have to do a little bit of review of the evolution of modern physics and see where the direction, see what the direction is of contemporary physics, because that's, I believe, of vital importance in explaining the physics of UFOs. And so, in a nutshell, and this is very important here, from Newton's laws of motion and his theory of gravity back in the 17th century, right through James Clerk Maxwell's laws explaining electromagnetism in the 19th century, and right up to relativistic physics and quantum mechanics in the early 20th century, it was thought that we lived in a four-dimensional universe. But of course, over the years, the physicists have been trying to unify the fundamental forces of nature, and they ran into a roadblock sometime in the 70s and early 80s, and they just simply were not making any further progress. So what happened is, at about that time, they began to consider the possibility that we might live in more than four dimensions, and so just to make a long story short, what has happened is they now believe the latest theories that have been developed over the last 2 decades suggest that we live in an 11-dimensional universe, and you guys have probably heard of string theory, and
yeah.
Okay, and then string theory evolved into something else called M theory, or membrane theory. So what's exciting about this is that these are the first theories that look like they're able to bring gravity into the unification theories, into the what they call the theory of everything, TOE, like toe, like big toe, and so this is very exciting because it looks like the extra dimensions may be real, and the audience will be very interested to know that one of the things they're testing and looking for at the Large Hadron Collider particle accelerator, the most powerful particle accelerator that we've ever built, is looking for exactly evidence of these extra dimensions. So that looks like what could be critical to also explaining the UFO phenomenon. And so it looks like the string theory has evolved into membrane theory, and the basic idea behind membrane theory is it looks like there are 2 space-time membranes floating in the larger 11-dimensional universe, and these space-time membranes. So, oh, by the way, I'm sorry for monopolizing everything, but I was just trying to cover everything as quickly as I could, if that's okay.
No, that's fine. It's fine.
Okay, and but it looks like there are 2 space-time membranes that are floating, as I said, in the larger 11-dimensional space. Now, I want to point out too that of the 11 dimensions, 6 of those dimensions appear to be curled up at every point in space-time. So that leaves 5 larger dimensions to work with. We can kind of ignore the 6 smaller ones. But previously they had thought that there were only 4 large dimensions, 3 of space and 1 of time. Now it looks like there's 4 space dimensions and 1 of time. And this is where I think we're going to understand the UFO phenomenon and UFO technology. It looks like we live in one of the space-time membranes that's floating in this larger, we'll just deal with the five-dimensional space-time. It looks like our universe is one of those four-dimensional space-time membranes. And so every night when you go out and look up at the stars, you're looking at the four-dimensional universe that we live in, the four larger dimensions. And as I mentioned, you can forget about the smaller 6 dimensions. But they believe there's another space-time membrane floating exactly parallel to the one that we live on. And one of the hierarchy problem that tries to explain the weakness of gravity versus the other forces, well, it turns out that there are two physicists, one from Harvard and another from Johns Hopkins University, and they believe that the reason why gravity is so weak is for this reason. And everybody's got to listen carefully to this, because this is so critical to explaining the UFO phenomenon. It looks like all of the matter and force particles in nature are these little wiggling strings. And it turns out that the two ends of the strings are attached for every single matter particle and force particle. It looks like the two open ends of those strings are stuck on the membranes that we live on. So what that means is that these particles cannot leave the space-time membrane we live on. This is true for all the particles, like the electron, the quarks, the up quark, the down quark, the neutrino. They're all open strings and they're stuck on our space-time membrane. And likewise, the three non-gravity forces, electromagnetism carried by the photon, the weak nuclear force carried by the W plus, W minus, and Z neutral particles, isn't a string. These are strings that are stuck in our membrane. And the strong nuclear force, which is carried by particles called gluons, like glue, they too are open strings and they're stuck in our membrane. But there's one particle that physicists believe is not stuck on the membrane because it's a closed loop. And that particle is the graviton. And that may explain the tremendous weakness of gravity versus the other forces. The reason being that the vast majority of gravitons may not be on are not on, physicists think they are not on the space-time membrane we live on, but they're in that extra fifth five-dimensional space between the two space-time membranes. And the theory that was developed called warp geometry by the Harvard physicist and the Johns Hopkins physicist, that theory proposes that the other membrane that's parallel to ours, which they call the gravity membrane or Planck membrane, and that particular space-time membrane, they think is warped in such a way that it attracts the vast majority of gravitons in the larger five-dimensional universe toward its surface. And what that means is that we only have a small number of gravitons on our space-time membrane. And it turns out that, so they think that the closer, if you were able to get off the space-time membrane that we live on and get into that area between the membranes, which is referred to by physicists, and this is important, everybody should remember this, that area between the membranes, that five-dimensional area, is referred to as the bulk, B-U-L-K. If nobody remembers anything else, the term bulk is the most important. And it looks like that bulk area, that space between the membranes, is warped in such a way that that gravity gets exponentially stronger the deeper you get into the bulk. Okay, now that's all the physics, and except for just a little bit more. But now we're going to get to the payoff, and this is what we've been shooting for, and
Okay.
and this is the key thing. The question is, there were two big questions: how do UFOs get to planet Earth from distant stars? And number two, how do they perform inertia-defying acrobatics in our atmosphere? We're going to look at that first question. How do they get here from distant stars? Well, the second I saw this discussion by physicists that the area between the membranes is severely warped, and gravity gets exponentially stronger the deeper you go into it, I realized that general relativity says where gravity is strong, distances shrink. And it turns out that gravity gets 10 to the 16 power, 1 followed by 16 zeros. It reaches maximum strength of 10 to the 16, stronger than it is on planet Earth or in our universe. And this is the key. This is the whole thing. I think somehow, I have an idea of how they do it. These UFOs have figured out how to get off of the space-time membrane, which, by the way, is referred to as the TEV brain, or the weak membrane, WEAK, that we live on. That's our universe. They figured out how to pull themselves off our space-time membrane, get into the bulk, and here's how they do it. Alpha Centauri is the closest star system to planet Earth. It's 4.3 light years, or 25 trillion miles. It would take thousands of years to get there by a rocket, and even then, it would have to be going, at a very high speed. But all you have to do is go into the bulk, the BULK there, to where gravity is only 1/10,000th of its maximum strength in the bulk. If the UFOs can get in just that far in, then what the distance to Alpha Centauri shrinks from 4.3 light years down to just 25 miles. And that is the key. And what's important, Mark and Jeff, that's the key to the whole thing.
Okay.
That's the key to the whole thing. I believe that's how they're moving between the stars. And did everybody hear that?
So they kind of slingshotting through?
Well, what they're doing, Jeff and Mark, is they're going deep enough into the bulk, that space area between the membranes, where distances shrink so severely between the stars that you only have miles to go instead of light years. And you could literally, I used to have a 1966 Ford Mustang. I love that car. And I could have gotten into my car and I could have driven to Alpha Centauri if I can get into the bulk with the car. I could drive there in half an hour, depending on the speed limit and the bulk. Because if you only get in to the bulk where gravity is just 1/10,000th of its maximum strength in the bulk, the distance to Alpha Centauri is just 25 miles. And so you could literally drive your car to Alpha Centauri in half an hour. And I believe that's what the UFOs are doing. Of course, they're not using cars. They have specially constructed spaceships once they get in there. And so that's one of the key questions on UFO technology. And I notice we're kind of running out of time. So
Yeah, it's about time to wrap it up, Bob.
So if the other part of the UFO technology is how they perform inertia-defying acrobatics in Earth's atmosphere, and I'm afraid I won't have time to discuss that right now. But if you want to continue on another show, I'd be happy to do it.
Yeah, Bob, we'll have you back on again.
It's been a fabulous insight.
We'll go with a full hour. That way we can get everything in.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, and one more thing, Mark and Jeff. I wanted to mention that I'll be speaking at the Exeter UFO Festival on August 30, this coming August. And so anybody who's interested in going to that, I'll be doing a presentation. And what I'm talking about is much easier to understand because I use a slideshow, and I have some DVDs of pilot sightings of UFOs that are kind of quite interesting too. And so anybody who's interested in going, I'll be speaking at that conference. And
Perfect, Bob.
Yeah, sounds good.
Do you have a website?
I don't, but my book is available on Amazon.
Okay.
The title of the book is Solving the UFO Enigma, and the subtitle is How Modern Physics is Revealing the Technology of UFOs. And if they just go into, if people are interested in the book, they can go into Amazon and just look up my name, Robert Schroeder. Last name is Schroeder, like the guy who plays the piano in the Peanuts comic strip. And the book is Solving the UFO Enigma. Main title.
Bob, thank you very much.
You need a website, Bob.
Yeah, that's next.
You guys are right. I really should put a website together. I guess I'm so busy studying physics that I really haven't had much time. But
you can get your message out to like the world. You know what I mean?
I've actually been to like the International UFO Congress down in Phoenix. I was there in February. It was really nice. I missed part of the winter, and I'm doing a lot of these shows, so I'm just kind of getting out there now, and so I'm hoping that I'm actually hoping to attract the attention of physicists or people who have access to and expertise in the use of spectrographic equipment. We can maybe, if I come back, I can talk about this. But
well, the more people you can reach, the better chance you're gonna have.
Right.
Your message out.
All right, Mr. Schroeder. Robert Schroeder, thank you very much for calling into Everything Paranormal with Mark and Jeff. It's been fascinating. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Have a great night.
Fantastic. Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, our next guest. With Everything Paranormal with Mark and Jeff. So we have some like crazy thunderstorms in this area tonight in Salem, Massachusetts, and well, I think it's knocked us off a couple of times. I thought this Skype was the way to go nowadays.
Skype? I don't think so.
Skype, man. All right. Well, Bob Schroeder was great, huh? He gave us a different insight in UFOs, and Yeah, and the stuff that walked. It was like, my head's like throbbing now.
Oh, I know it. I'm going to drive home and drive over the bridge.
Our next guest
Gravity will take over.
has been a metaphysical consultant for over 25 years. He learned something about gravity. She's internationally known for her astrological and psychic readings, channeling, metaphysical advice columns, and articles.
Oh, she's going to read you, Mark.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
No.
We need to get deep in you.
No, and she's been publishing books and radio and has had several radio appearances. So she sounds like a professional, Jeff.
That's nice. We need a professional.
Yes. Folks, welcome to the show, Susan Blair Hunt. Hello, Susan.
Hi, Mark. Hi, Dennis.
Jeff.
Jeff, sorry. Whoever's there, yeah.
That was psychic. You didn't even know my name?
He's the color guy. I'll just shut him off if you want.
I'm the Ed McMahon of the group.
Very good, very good.
Dennis is actually our producer. So, Susan, tell our audience a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how they can follow you on all the social media.
Okay, great. My name's Susan Blair Hunt. You already said that, but it's good to have that repetition out there. And I've been a professional psychic. I got interested in metaphysics when I was about 12. You know, it started with the I Dream a Genie and Bewitched, and I'm like, well, that looks interesting, right? And so trying to find out how to work that magic. And got hooked into a book called Linda Goodman's Sun Signs, which is all about, it's not really an astrology book so much as it talks about the signs of the zodiac. So, for example, when's your birthday, Mark?
January 27th.
Okay, so you've got that mix. You're Aquarius, but you've got a little bit of the Capricorn going on too. So, but Aquarians, Aquarians, Geminis, Libras, their venue is always computers, internet, radio, TV. Communication is a big thing for them.
Exactly.
Wow, that's like dead on again.
Yeah. So when I read this book, I'm like, oh wow, this is great. I can figure people out, just by knowing their birthdays, and seem to be right on. So, so what happened was, I was in high school, and all my girlfriends would come over and they'd be like, oh, I'm a Pisces and I like Joe and he's a Leo. Are we compatible? I'd be like, no. So it was really handy. So all of a sudden I became the advice expert, when it came to astrology, and it just kind of built out from there. And then of course I'm a Gemini, so Geminis like to know a little bit about everything. Yep. And so, it was like astrology, psychics, tarot, past life, channeling, whatever I could get my hands on metaphysically,
That is cool.
I'm July 19th.
Yeah, July 19th.
Oh, okay, so you're right. So you're both kind of have these multiple signs, because you're Cancer, but you've got a lot of Leo in you.
Yeah.
So you're a good cook, but when you serve it up, it has to have flair. It has to can't just taste good; it has to look good.
That's me. That's me.
Yeah, that's me too.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so that's nice. You guys kind of have dual signs working for you, so you can be a little more expansive in whatever you do. But you'll notice this is one thing I like to do when I teach astrology or when I'm trying to show people how it works is I'll use an example like, say, the Beatles, right? And so John Lennon was a Libra and Paul McCartney was a Gemini, and those are the two most prolific signs of the zodiac for writing, and they wrote all the music. And then George Harrison was a Pisces, and he brought in took him to India and brought in the sitar music and all of that. And then Ringo Starr, who was Cancer, like you, Jeff, he kind of ended up in the background a lot. He didn't like that much, but he kind of ended up, behind everybody playing the drums and kind of not getting the recognition. So he kind of had to go out of his way with the rings and the Ringo and that sort of thing. And everything was going fine until that little Aquarius, Yoko Ono, no offense to you, Mark, came in and sudden and abrupt changes. Yeah, so everything went haywire. So so it's kind of interesting to watch how that plays itself out over and over again. So that led me into writing a daily horoscope, which I've done for the last 15 years for a website called Kajama.com, which is KAJAMA.com. And then by fate, I recently became the owner of that website. So everybody should run over there. The fun thing about Kajama is it's got all kinds of info. Have you seen it? Have you dropped in?
I did. I checked it. I did. I was on it today.
I haven't yet.
During my lunch break, I was checking it out. It was great.
Great. We're getting ready to have a brand new look here in a week or two. So, we're revising everything and getting a new website running. But basically, you can. It's got a daily inspirational message, but you can read your horoscope. You can. Did your horoscope say you were going to be late today, Mark? Did you read it?
I didn't say that.
I didn't, but no, it's been a rough day. But I'm here.
It's been a rough week, huh? Yeah, everybody's like, what the heck is going on? Yeah.
So in the opening, it's been like the longest short week ever. It's been crazy.
Me being a Cancer, the moon really gets me.
Does it? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The new moon or the full moon? Yeah.
So
that's what rules you. Yeah.
Oh, it definitely does.
Yeah. So, and of course, Mark, as an Aquarian, you're ruled by Uranus. So I'll let you guys make all the jokes about that you want, but
It is prison days.
I've never been in prison. Don't say that.
He got his cigarettes.
No, come on. I don't even smoke. Don't listen to him. I've never been in trouble. Google me. I'm a good guy.
Okay, yeah, we're about to say I always do that before you do a reading.
Our audience already is Googling you.
Good. Thanks a lot, guys. You do like a nice Cancer and stay in the background and be quiet.
You can't get away with anything nowadays with the internet, can you?
The Leo comes out in me, but the Cancer stays back, so
Right.
I have kind of a mix.
That's funny. Oh, boy. So why are some people more intuitive than others?
Well, I think everybody has that gift of intuition, but they don't listen to it. You guys, if you're going along and you're like, I'm going to do this, and then this little voice inside of you says, nah, and then you're like, yeah, really, I'm doing it anyway. And we ignore it. We're so domesticated, and we're so, drowned out by all that. I mean, we're overloaded with information. We're just a real mental society now. We're thinking all the time. We're getting bombarded, right, with info. So we don't pay much attention. Yeah.
People don't listen to the red flags in relationships and investments and everything,
Yeah. Well, and you can see it.
And where you feel, it just, you feel that it's not going to be right, but you go forward anyway for whatever reason.
Right, like you were saying with relationships, if that guy didn't call you for 5 days, don't call him, because trust me, if he didn't call you for 5 days, what you don't want to feel, which is that things aren't working out, that's what's happening. But yeah, people want to change it or ignore it or that kind of thing.
Yeah, you just discard it, and you don't go with your true feeling,
Yeah. That's why the Kajama we've got a group of psychics, and we don't have 50 pages of psychics that all charge $5 a minute. It's not like that. Yeah. I've got 12 of the top psychics who've been, they're credentialed, they've been working for 20 years or more. They're the tops in their field. They charge a flat rate. You're not going to get surprised by this huge credit card bill, and they're right there to help you with all that. To touch base with your intuition, which is really what psychics do. Some people want magic answers, but really, we already have the answers. We just can't get to them because of that, mental overload. So it's really helpful to stop and touch base with one of our psychics, and then you get back on track. You figure out what's going on.
right? There's a lot of negative press about psychics these days.
Oh yeah, well, there's a lot of
Scam artist, or how do you feel about that?
Well, there's a lot in media too with these psychics that it's like become real popular. So all of a sudden,
Well, we were talking about that early in the beginning of the show, where some people capitalize. They do a lot of digging.
yeah, like we were saying, I mean, basically, there's 3 areas in life that everybody is going to have problems with: health, wealth, and relationships. So that those 3 areas.
That's a good point.
That these people that they're not psychics, they're picking away at these 3 areas and they're generalizing. And
He's smarter than he looks.
Some of these people are desperate,
Yeah.
and they're going to do or die by what these people say.
Right. They make drastic changes.
It's scary that,
So what do you think?
It is. Well, every profession, lawyers, doctors, nurses, cops, there's good ones, there's bad ones, but it has become very popular for people to, spend a lot of money talking with psychics that don't have any solid background, and like I think Jeff said, they're desperate for answers. They need help, and basically they get paralyzed, and so they do need some really good direction. But there's psychics out there. I had this one woman write me, and she's like, I've been talking to this psychic, not one of our psychics, but another psychic, and she wants $20,000 to clear the negative energy out of my house. And I was like, call the cops, put her on the news, expose her. And I was telling my husband about it, and I'm like, $20,000. And he said, did you tell her you'll do it for 10? He's a mercenary that way.
That's worse than the $50 a plate the psychic I know was charging for the. Never mind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So you do have to be careful out there with any. Yeah, I can't find a decent plumber. I mean, anything you're looking for, you got to get referrals. You've got to find out what their background is. Or get a friend that recommends. It's really essential that, like you do with anything else, you get somebody who's authentic, who's not going to tell you what you want to hear. If somebody calls me, my brother the other day, he got on Skype. He's like, I'm having this terrible pain in my side, and the doctors think it's my gallbladder. And I'm like, and so I checked it. I did the rehab. Said no, it's not. It's muscular. But he was in so much fear that he was tensed up and everything hurt. Then it's hard to figure out what's going on. And I'm not a doctor. Don't get me wrong. I don't diagnose people. Actually, I am a doctor. I have a doctorate in metaphysics, but it doesn't allow me to practice medicine. So,
A lot of these people with these illnesses, I mean, first of all, it's all I mean, at some point, I'm a total believer that every injury, every disease is caused by, a mental problem to begin with. Like, there's something mental, and then if you start throwing your negativity into it, then basically you've manifested that.
Absolutely, we contribute to it, in our heads, how we're thinking. Our thoughts are so powerful.
Yeah, it's like, it's cancer, I know it's cancer. And that, instead of, it's just a cyst, it's going to go away. I can actually get rid of this myself if I...
Right. If I can Google how to do it. Yeah. I agree.
We breathe, but we don't know how, we just do it,
Yeah.
Take care of health.
Yeah, and people do. They get caught up in fear, and you do have to be careful. I mean, if you have a serious problem. But one thing I've noticed with people, and I notice this with myself too. Like, let's say you have a bum ankle, and it's always hurting, and then all of a sudden you get a stomach pain, and your stomach's hurting, and then all of a sudden your ankle's not hurting. These pains tend to move around in the body depending on where your body wants attention.
Yeah, and he's always moving.
Mhm. Yeah, and it can be stress, and it can be fear. A lot of us. I mean, I was watching. I don't know if you guys ever saw that Bowling for Columbine. The movie Michael Moore made about the guns, the kids in Denver. This is kind of off the topic, but basically, what he said was, Americans are so fearful. He said Canadians, they're not fearful, but Americans can get so wrapped up in fear. This is going to happen, that's going to happen, what's going to happen, that they manifested themselves, like you said, thinking about it.
Definitely. Oh, I agree with that.
That's a whole other story. People conjuring up spirit and things too.
No,
that
if you're
happens
talking
too.
mass fear, and
Right.
I mean that's what causes the depressions. That's what causes everything. Until people say, "I've had enough," and then it starts to shift. You know?
Right.
Once it shifts 51%, it will change. You know.
Go. Heard it here.
It just takes the awareness, yeah.
So, Susan, when you do a reading, how do you get your information? What tools do you use?
Well, the first thing I do is ask birthdays because I'm real into the astrology, so I know the person's personality and what they respond to and what, triggers them. And then I'll usually use the tarot cards to address... oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. I'll use the tarot cards or clairvoyance, spirit guides. I'll get messages, but most of the information I get actually comes from the person that I'm reading. So a lot of times I'll be doing a reading, and then I'll hear from their father who's passed over, or their cousin, or their uncle, or their favorite pet. So the channeling that I do, that kind of came in accidentally, and I was a reluctant channeler, actually. But I'll get messages. I had this one woman I was reading for, and I kept seeing all these stars everywhere, and swans, and she was asking me about her aunt who had recently passed, and I said, do stars mean anything to you? And she just broke out laughing. She said, my aunt loves stars, and she had stars on the wall, and she had star china that I got, received as an inheritance, and I said, well, what about swans? And since she's buried next to a little pond, actually up in your neck of the woods where you guys are, that has swans swimming by it all the time. So so if they want to get a message to you, and I happen to be talking to you, it can come through. So those are the tools I use basically, and then just my intuition, as we were saying, about a situation.
Let's talk a minute about tarot cards. They seem a bit mysterious, and sometimes they scare people.
Oh yeah, well that's because every tell me if this isn't true. Every time you've seen a tarot card, has it been like on a James Bond movie, or the death cards getting turned over, or it's always bad.
The good card, the death card, means it's time for a new beginning.
Right, it's like a rebirth.
And get the death card because it's the death of an old life and it's starting a new one.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Right. It's that's exactly right. It almost never is talking about physical death. It's talking about things moving out of your life so that new stuff can come in.
Please.
Yeah, but so people don't know a lot about it. So what I did was, once I got into the tarot, and the more I learned about it, and the more I practiced it, I realized that it's a very powerful tool for helping people to get those answers that they need, whether they're doing it themselves or they're reading for somebody else. So I wrote a book, and it's on Amazon or at Llewellyn Publishing, but it's called Tarot Prediction and Divination. And everything you want to know about the tarot is in that book. From, if you pick up that book and turn to the first reading, you can immediately do a reading if you've got cards. It's that simply laid out, and then it can get more complicated. But the goal was to take the scary out of it, take the mystery out of it, and let people know that it's just a tool. Someone was asking me just the other day, because she had gotten my book and she's working with the cards, and she said, well, these cards attract negative spirits. And I said, no, that's different. Ouija boards will do that. There's other things, but these are more informative, and they're actually, the original images on the cards are based on the Egyptian Book of Life, which was a precursor to what we'd call our modern day Bible today. So just talking about the different paths and journeys people take towards their wholeness, towards becoming whole.
I do a 7-card reading on myself every morning.
You do?
Oh, great.
I do.
What cards do you use?
I have the Witch's Tarot.
I love the Witch's Tarot, which doesn't have anything to do with witches, huh?
Oh, it doesn't. I mean, it's all earth, wind, water, fire,
Right,
you know? I
right,
mean, that's
yeah.
basically what the witches and Wiccans believe, you know?
Yeah. Although, that people have misperceptions about witches too. So it's all about personal experience versus what you read or what you hear. Once you have a personal experience with someone, if you guys are in Salem, you probably cross paths with witches all the time, or self-proclaimed witches.
Yeah, right.
Same
Exactly.
thing is
Especially
real
Halloween.
fake ones, you know?
Yeah.
People
And
play games with spells they shouldn't be doing.
Well, right. We've had paranormal investigations close by here where black magic was involved and bad things happened.
yeah. And it's true. That's not make believe. It's really
Nope.
true. You have to be careful. Yeah.
I mean, that causes problems in your family, like in your job, everything, you know?
Really? Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
you get negative spirit that you're coming home. I mean, that's your home. It's where you're supposed to relax, and you're
Right.
feeling negative and down every time you're in there.
Exactly. I had that happen one time. I went to an import store and I picked up this really cool box from India to put my tarot cards in, and I brought it home and I put the cards in and I was going about my business, and then I went back to the cards and I turned them over and I got a really negative vibe and I couldn't figure it out, you know. And then I started seeing, those little shadows you see out of the corner of your eye, and it's some little negative entity, and they were all downstairs, and I was like, what's going on? And I finally figured out that box, I guess they'd hitchhiked over from India in that box, but I had to smudge the house and smudge the cards and clear out the box, and then it was fine. But if you don't know what's going on, you're like, that negative energy, then you're letting it control your life instead of getting rid of it. So
It's eating away at you, and it's like taking your negativity, and it's getting stronger and stronger before you know it.
Yeah.
You know?
So back to Kajama for a second. If you go onto Kajama under the spiritual toolbox, there's a bunch of spells and rituals in there, and there's some great ones for getting rid of negative entities, clearing your house, clearing your body. If you've got something that feels like it's attached to you, poltergeist or whatever, to get rid of those. So, and those are just free in the spiritual toolbox, so you'll want to check those out.
You got a little of everything on there, don't you?
Yeah, I'm Gemini.
But what does the word kajama mean? What's kajama? I like it. Kajama mama. What's it mean?
It's an Arabic word that means echo. So it's an echo of the spirit, like past, present, and future. So people will go. They'll have past life readings because that helps them kind of figure out what's going on in their current life, and then they want to know their future. So it's the echo of their past, present, and future is the basic meaning of it.
That's great. Is Kajama a place that you would want to bookmark and visit every day?
Yeah, well, you can go in every day and read your horoscope, and I think of the horoscope as an astrological, like weather or traffic report. You before you leave the house, you check on the weather, especially where you guys are with all the lightning and thunder and stuff right now. Check the weather, check the traffic to make sure you don't have to go a different way. Same with the horoscope. If you get, I had a friend of mine, her daughter was at the computer one day, and she got up and went in her room and came back, and she was wearing a different T-shirt, and she said, what are you doing? And she said, well, my horoscope says I should be wearing blue. So she changed her clothes to change to that color. But it helps you know what to watch out for. If you're going to get in a fight with your boss, or if it's just not a good day to write that proposal and stuff. So I think that's as handy as a traffic or weather report. So you want to do that, you can get your inspirational message for the day, which is just something to kind of make you think and stop and have a different awareness and different perspective. You can pop in and get your daily tarot message, which is we'll just have a message for the day for you to also kind of let you know how things are going. And there's, we have lots of great spiritual articles. This week we have 3 articles in there about goddesses. There's a new book out called Encyclopedia of Goddesses. So it talks about that, and next week is all about magic. And every week we kind of have different topics that are connected that we publish in there. And there's a psychic advice column if you have a problem you want to write in and you don't mind having it published for the general public to see. We have 2 psychics, and they both answer the question, so you get kind of a double take. It's called double vision, so you get 2 people's take on the situation or solutions for the problem. So that's kind of fun. And then, of course, if you do have an issue going on and you'd like some guidance or an answers or direction, we've got psychics available. They're from all over the world, so there's usually somebody, 1 or more of them online, so you can drop in and see what they offer. They have, different amounts of time and different prices because they're all independent, but you can get a reasonable reading, for a reasonable amount and get some answers, get some direction.
Now, do you have like email, like we can a subscriber? Can you say, well, pulling out words tonight?
Yeah. Actually, we do, and we're working on revising that. If you now, if you want to contact me directly, what you want to do is go to kajama.com, click on the horoscopes, and that takes you right to my personal website, and right there's an email where you can write to me if you want to.
Okay, cool.
And to ask questions. You can also sign up to have, for free, the inspirational message every day and the Kajama Weekly Digest, and that's under the welcome menu, the welcome when you get to the front page of Kajama. You just sign up, and it also will register you to win a free psychic reading. We have a free psychic reading once a month that we draw out, so if you sign up for those which are free, then you also enter to win a psychic reading.
Cool.
So that's good. Yeah.
So that is kajama.com. Every day, folks. Every day. I used to listen and read Joel Osteen for my inspiration, but I'm going to check out kajama.com.
Kajama?
Yeah.
Kajama. I like it. That's really cool.
Like pajama, but a K.
Kajama.
Yeah.
So, what makes your psychic special, Kajama Psychics? What makes them special?
The Kajama Psychics, like I said, they've all been doing this professionally for quite a while.
Right.
So it's not, I'm just saying that there's a lot of sites out there where they want so many people on. How do you pick? How do you, if I went to one of the major advertised psychic sites, I have to scroll through 20 people or more to see, and I don't know.
Salem here, psychics, and they have like big canopies and big signs, flashing signs in the window.
Yeah. And how do you find the right one? How do you connect with the right one? You can use your intuition if it's operating. But I'm pretty careful. I'm really exclusive. And what you can do, this is really fun. When you go to Kajama, go under Psychics, the menu, and go to Psychic Profiles, and a page will come up with pictures of all the psychics, and then above them there's words like astrology, tarot, relationships, Reiki, all the different types of readings. And if you click on one of them, the pictures spin around and just the people that do astrology come up, or just the people that do channeling come up. So that's kind of fun. If you click on their picture, it'll take you to a bio. It tells you all about them, what kind of work they do, how long they've been doing this work, and then that links to their site so you can look at prices. But most of them will have their background and testimonials in their website, so you can read what experience people have had with them, which is always good. You want some kind of background credentials, like when I decided to become a professional psychic, at the time, and this was 25 years ago, for some reason, they were cracking down on psychics in California. Well, if they're doing it in California, it's just a matter of time. So I got a degree. I got my doctorate in metaphysics. I got a business license. I got accredited by the American Association of Professional Psychics and the American Tarot Association, and which is no easy feat. they're pretty tough. I wanted to have as much background and credentials behind me as possible, not only for because it looks good on a website, but because I wanted to be sure. My main concern when I went into this business was I want to help people. I don't want to harm anybody. I don't want to advise them in the wrong way. I really want to help them. And I was wonderfully surprised about 2 years ago when I was Googling my name. Do you guys do that? Just every once in a while, I Google my name, see what's, that there's a site online called Free Astrology or freehoroscopeastrology.com, and they had listed me as the top female astrologer on the net, and I'm like, really? That's great,
Okay. I can vouch because I do. I Google my guest before I the bee guest, and yeah, absolutely. It's
Am I all over the internet?
yeah, that makes it very easy, huh? Oh, it's Yep.
You can do what you say you can do, so that's interesting. Yep. You may as well let as many people know as you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and it's I love my work. I all of a sudden I find myself working 14 to 18 hours a day. But if you love your job, you don't mind. I love helping people get clear, get in touch with their loved ones on the other side. I do a lot of channeling. I typically do a lot of relationship readings, but health readings, career readings. People are wondering, about jobs, and one thing I will say is this last 2 weeks have been a little rough because the planet Mars is changing direction. It's starting to go forward again, but with this new moon we've had the next 2 weeks are going to be so much fun. New stuff starting. If there's something you've been trying to get off the ground, it's going to happen.
I have another job interview Monday. That's funny you say that.
I can feel that already. It feels lighter.
Really?
Great. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, because it was retrograde for 2 months, and I mean, did you notice in March and April, you could not get anything done. I was going in circles like crazy.
Piece of paper.
No energy.
Months now.
Yeah.
Plus, we have that cardinal cross and all that other stuff going on. Right?
Yeah. But I think of it as a major rebirth. Since from 4 years ago, the last 4 years, things have been okay, but they haven't been fabulous. This is my favorite year forever, But we're going into that cycle where things are going to work. Yeah. Things are going to come back together. If you're thinking of buying a house, do it now because the prices are going to start going back up. Yeah. You're not only interviewing for a job, you're interviewing for a job you will love.
Right.
Not just the money.
It's time to make changes is what I'm saying, so that's great.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's coming the next 2 weeks, everybody. Hold on.
Hold on tight.
I have a theory on why the world's so crazy right now.
You make it quick.
All right. It'll be quick.
All right. Okay.
2012, the year the Mayans said the Earth was going to end.
Yep.
Right.
All right. It did end.
It did.
A rebirth into a new world, but everyone thought something crazy was going to happen, earthquakes and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
2013, the people who were supposed to be helping other people had chose their sides. The people that were going to stay in their comfort zone went back to the lives because we're all going to evolve from this.
Right.
2014 is the year where the people that have chosen their path are going to soar. And
Exactly.
Well,
all right.
The other people that are still living in their comfort zone, that are afraid of change, eventually they're going to have to do it. So they're going to start coming along. But 2014 is the year that those people that have already decided to make that change, their lives are going to start soaring.
It's true, and even if they didn't know they were going to make that change, I didn't know I was going to end up owning Kajama, and I have to tell you, when it was first offered to me, I'm like, no way, I don't want to work that hard. But guess what?
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was what you were supposed to do, and it wouldn't
labor
away
of love.
until you
Great.
did it. You know,
Yeah.
you would
Yeah.
just
So
repeat.
yeah. So stay tuned because we're getting ready to rebirth next week ourselves. Yeah.
Awesome.
But that's a great theory. That's true. I think it's true. Yeah.
But so Susan Blair Hunt, give your website information again, and of course the Kajama.com, and let people know again where they can find you.
Great, Kajama.com, and if you want to contact me directly or want a reading, when you go to Kajama.com, click on the horoscopes, and that will take you right to my website. Or if you want to go straight to my website, it's SusanBlairHunt.com, and it's spelled with a Y, so it's SusanBlairHunt.com, and you'll find me there.
Hunt, thank you so much. We apologize
Thank
for being
you.
late. We definitely want to have you back. Probably
Yeah,
for the
definitely.
full. Have her back for the full show. She's
Yeah, why
I
not?
love it. Yeah, I'd be happy.
Yes, we've had in a long time, Susan.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm happy to come back anytime.
Yeah,
All right, we will be in touch. So thank you
Okay.
very much. Have a great night.
nice meeting you.
You
Susan.
too. Thanks, Jeff. You guys, it was great being a part of your show. Thanks.
Thanks, Susan. Good night. That's
Good
Susan Blair Hunt, folks. Check her out. Kajama.com. Kajama like pajama. Kajama mama. Kajama.com. And her website is Susan with a Y, SUSYN Blair, SusanBlairHunt.com. And we are Mark and Jeff and Everything Paranormal with Mark and Jeff. Check out my website, WitchCityGhost.com, and he is at.
AngelsGuide.org.
Okay, so have a great night. We'll see you next Friday.
Peace out.